going to finish up reviewing the financial performance of Warner Brothers.
Mr. Tsujihara has been a valuable asset to our company for 20 years. Considering he has only been CEO for a little over a year, it's hard to say with complete certainty whether or not Warner Brothers' recent successes in the movie industry can be attributed to him. Many of Warner Brothers' successes are probably a cohesive group effort that has allowed them to flourish in the movie industry. But it's important to note that Mr. Tsujihara's leadership as head of the home entertainment department was very effective. He settled the property dispute surrounding the Hobbit movie, transitioned Warner Brothers customer sales from DVDs to digital copies, and persuaded J.K. Rowling to expand her Harry Potter series into the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them trilogy. His expertise in communicating clear ideas, rational decision-making, and negotiation will all be essential to Warner Brothers' long-term financial success.
Over the course of the project, I learned that the CEO of Warner Brothers is an extremely hard-working and dedicated man. He had to work for everything that he achieved, and nothing was handed to him. He comes from a family of determined individuals who understand the value of working for your pay. Tsujihara is a relatable and kind person, but he is also very driven and knows what it takes to accomplish his goals, which is partly why he is so successful. He has strong values that drive his decision-making, and his behavior has made him likable to many. Based on what I have learned about Tsujihara, we would have different leadership styles. He is one that is very innovative and takes risks. On the other hand, I'm one that does not especially like taking risks and am relatively conservative when it comes to creativity. I would have more of a participative leadership style where I encourage others to work and help with them on creating new ideas. This would not make me the best choice of leader for Warner Brothers. So far, Tsujihara has done a smooth job running Warner Brothers, and I would not change anything that he has accomplished there. His position involves a lot of calculated risk and seems like a pretty stressful position, one that I'm sure he can handle much better than I. I do believe that Tsujihara has been acting ethically and socially responsible in his position. He has been creating powerful, calculated business developments for the organization and moving them in the right direction. His personal life isn't of concern to anyone, and he keeps his private matters private. He participates in the several types of giving programs that Warner Brothers offers, and he makes decisions with the needs and wants of his customers in mind.
After going in depth about Kevin Tsujihara, I got the opportunity to learn more about what it takes to be CEO of a company like that. Going into this project, I did not know a single thing about Tsujihara. What I found most interesting that he was a business owner before he joined Warner Brothers back in the early 2000s. And that shows a lot about the risk he's willing to take as a leader. The biggest takeaway I gained from studying Tsujihara was how he handled breaking bad news to the employees that 12.5% of them are going to be laid off. Tsujihara found it important to reach out to the employees at a personal level with news like this. That really stuck to me because it shows, although it definitely was a harder path to take, it's definitely worth it in the end by positive press he received. If I were to do anything Kevin Tsujihara did over again, I would definitely relook the decision to fire some of the top-level producers like Mr. Robinoff. I feel that they are a tremendous asset to the company that cannot necessarily be replaced that quickly. To conclude, I believe Tsujihara is an ethically responsible CEO. He's had great benefit programs to the employees and volunteers in the community. A good indicator that he is ethically and socially responsible is that he stays out of the media. That demonstrates he hasn't necessarily done anything that bad that is newsworthy, and he tends to go with the flow.
In regards to the Warner Brothers CEO, Kevin Tsujihara, I've learned that he is a leader who demonstrates through actions rather than words, is a self-made success story, and is an ambitious negotiator who, however, always conveys an air of calm and collectiveness. He does not rule autocratically or with an iron fist, but rather with unspoken respect, well regard for his employees, and knowledge in his field. I think the type of leader I may become may resemble Tsujihara's leadership style, and that I think I'll not necessarily be a directive enforcer of my formal leadership, but rather assume a democratic style that encourages consultation and creative goal solution from everyone in the organization. This would fall in line with my personality results derived from the first homework assignment, which detailed my propensity for sensing and feeling in the Myers-Briggs test qualities that encourage working and caring for others. I think that these also could predict my adoption of a servant leadership style. I think that I may have done things a bit differently than Mr. Sujihara in terms of the management structure by including myself in that committee of 3 and their discussions instead of maintaining full power over all key business decisions. As far as the layoffs went, I think that he handled it as best he could, seeing as the need for layoffs was present, but that it was still important to show his employees empathy and explanation for the layoffs. I believe because of this handling of the layoff situation and other decisions that he does practice an ethical and socially responsible business behaviors. He has proved that he is dedicated to treating his employees fairly and justly, as well as giving back to the community, notably with his dedication to the corporate responsibility banner at Warner Brothers and his place on the board of directors for City Year Los Angeles, a nonprofit education fundraiser that focuses on raising the level of public education in the city of LA. He also has no outstanding unethical practices or scandals in his long tenure at Warner Brothers, even before he was CEO.
So the many things that I learned about Kevin Sujihara, I learned that he's a very well-rounded individual, and he's very humble. It clearly translates into how he runs Warner Brothers today. At only 50 years of age, he's kind of a young CEO, and he brings a lot of initiative and innovation to the company, which I admire. To sort of be that kind of leader when I start working wherever I am. And then another thing that really inspired me was the fact that he started in a really weird position with Warner Brothers. He started in the Six Flags division, which doesn't really sound that it sounds fun, but not really that business or executive feel that you get. And because he was constantly pushing and trying to become better at what he was doing, he eventually made his way over to home media, and he directed that for a while. And then just last year he was promoted to CEO of the entire company, so that shows a lot. I think it's been great what he's done so far. Like the Financial Review indicated before, he's increased the revenue and he's declined costs by $200 million. It's clearly a sign of the possible implementation of efficiency, which I agree with, because if you want to have a great business, you have to be efficient and minimize costs as much as possible. One thing that I would change, however, given the superhero movie boom that everyone has been crazing over the past few years with Marvel and the Avengers series, and also now we're getting a little bit of a taste of the DC Hero series from Warner Brothers. I think that Warner Brothers executives kind of reacted a little late to that. It would have been all Sujihara's fault because he took over the company pretty recently, but if I was in charge back then, I would have tried to hop on the superhero bandwagon a little sooner and try to compete with Marvel so they don't steal too much of that market share. And to close, I'm going to talk a little bit about Sujihara's ethics. One thing that really stood out for me was his participation in the ALS challenge, not only to put out a video and say, hey look, I did this, but also to raise awareness for such a great cause that has affected many people. He serves on many boards in the Burbank, California area. Some of them are educational, and then some of them are about the community, so it shows that he's not just interested in running Warner Brothers, he's also interested in helping his community out and helping change things for the better for everybody.
I learned a lot about Mr. Sujihara's values and dedication to higher learning. He attended some very prestigious schools and founded his own company, QuickTax. He has high self-efficacy, which has allowed him many leadership opportunities within the company. He has confidence in his abilities, which allowed him to move up the ladder of Warner Brothers Company to the CEO position. I also think I would be a strong leader with a mix between an autocratic and democratic style. I like to be in control, and I would want a regulated work environment so people are productive. But I would also encourage collaboration among employees to establish strong friendships and make our company a place people look forward to coming to every day. I probably would have done a few things differently than Mr. Sujihara because, one, I'm a girl and I think a little bit differently, but I would probably take a little bit less risk because I have a high need for achievement, and too much risk or potential for loss of profit scares me. I think Kevin Sujihara is an ethical business leader. He's dedicated to maintaining the quality of content the company puts out into the market and retaining the culture that it established. He doesn't want to make any massive changes just because he's the CEO now. He is very reserved in his business and acts very professional. I admire his quiet move up in the company, where his induction as CEO was a surprise to everyone. He has always been an underdog, and that suits his leadership style very well. His quiet demeanor may be a reason why Tsujihara has never been negatively talked about in the press because he is such a socially responsible CEO. The way he went about laying off employees was a very personal memo that showed that he truly cares for his employees. This kind of leadership is crucial in the 21st century corporate. Well, it looks like it's time for your departure here from Warner Brothers, but we thank you so much for visiting us today. We hope you leave with a better insight into our operations as a global business and leader in the entertainment industry. Please think of us the next time that you sit down to watch one of our feature films.